basically arguing with every question. And what else do we not hear? Anyone? We don't hear objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. And we don't hear a cackly, witchy voice by Judge Cannoni going sustained. I mean, what a difference. Just this example alone, this is how it should be. And the Karen Reed trial was exactly the opposite. The Karen Reed trial was just a perfect picture of corruption and collusion and all the things. And that's why Karen Reed is free today.
We'll put the witnesses on that.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll clarify some of that.
Let me tell you why that prosecutor's upset. Because he's up against a sharpshooter. He realizes that there's a shark in the water named Alan Jackson, and he's getting chewed up alive. Hey everybody, welcome to the After the Bars show. I am Sam. That's me. Welcome to part 2 of my Action Jackson, Alan Jackson in action coverage of the 2019 hearings with Kevin Fowler, aka Kevin Spacey. I did a part 1. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and go check it out. It's just my commentary on one of our most beloved, favorite lawyers in the land, Alan Jackson. I got hip to him during the Karen Reed trial, and now on my legal channels, I only want to showcase Alan Jackson and everything that he does. But this is truly my commentary channel at After the Bars, and you happen to find it, and you are exactly where you need to be for me to talk shit. I call them rants. I call them talking shit. I call it all kinds of things. I used to say, explained by ex-con explains, yeah, that's all fun. And I do like being in that sphere, that prison talk sphere, people like Ian Bigg, JD DeLay. But I've never met those guys, although we all kind of have like parallel experiences in the YouTube world. They just happen to be the gentlemen that have paved the way for guys like me who finally discovered YouTube after 55 years of life. I used it maybe twice, before 2 years ago on how to install a garbage disposal or a headlamp in my truck. But I had some downtime, just kind of like everybody did with COVID, but I had my own self-prescribed downtime, discovered LawTube, discovered YouTube, discovered that people can talk and spout their views on YouTube. And that's kind of what I'm here doing now. I know I have a few loyal friends that watch, and I love them dearly. They do protect the chat. We all have provided a safe space on this channel for people to talk about their issues, their problems. I sometimes will do community check-ins, live community check-ins. I also have a morning show called The Morning Mayhem Show. It is kind of on hiatus right now while my daughter is out for the summer, but it's going to be coming back in a week and a half, I think it is. So I was just thinking to myself, I better start doing some prep and getting ready for that. Anyways, we're here talking about Alan Jackson and Kevin Fowler, aka Kevin Spacey. It is pure Alan Jackson in his comfortable space of knowing that he has the truth, not Kevin Spacey's truth, not the accuser's truth, but the truth. Some will say, and I was reading some of the comments of my first part 1 of this little 2-part series. They're like, oh yeah, in Karen Reed, they had the truth, and he exposed, everything, all the lies. But in this one, he used some kind of like slick maneuvering. We're going to find out today. I have not seen this. I'm going to react with you if you haven't seen it. Assure you, if there's anything sleazy or slick or whatever, doesn't mean I don't love Alan Jackson. We're going to call it out, and I'll just, I know the law front and back, when it comes to criminal law. I'm not a lawyer, and I wouldn't even call myself a prison lawyer or a paralegal. But from my experience of being in that courtroom, either working deals or on trial, I have a lot to say, and I absolutely recognize. So let's get to it. Once again, I am Sam, and this is After the Bars. I'll be back in 2 and 2. Do you guys remember that? to respond.
Good morning to the chaos we ride.
So when I get text, my own ideas.
Wake up, Sam. He's reborn again. One step forward from where he's been. Turn up the noise, flip the script today. Lights on, Sam. We've got dues to pay. A world on fire, but the wind still blow. This is morning mayhem. Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! Here we go. Again, also, I want to talk about. I was mentioned on the Loophole Lawyer show.
Well, just because somebody didn't come over doesn't mean they ignored you.
Samantha Bengino.
Welcome. Samantha Bengino. Learn with me.
She put out another video today. She did have something interesting regarding Brian Higgins.
This young brother has a YouTube channel, and apparently they caught Brian Higgins, old Higgy Bear, red-handed. Let's watch.
And when he's coming out of the office, if you saturate the colors, the hand looks awfully red. If anything, there's a strawberry definitely on his knuckle. That's a fighting wound. In prison, when there's a fight, what they'll do is they'll lock down the unit, and they will go cell to cell, and they'll have everyone go like this to check for their knuckles to see if there's any cuts, scrapes, bruising. And that was a great honor. Me and Samantha Bengino. I know I pronounced her name wrong, and I apologize, Samantha. But we were featured on the Loophole Lawyer show about some coverage that we did. If you haven't checked that video out, it's up there in the corner. Go check that out, where we just talk about the swelling in Higgy Bear's hand. I still think that his hand is swollen, and that there is some light reflecting, and that red light did kind of make it glow red, like maybe it was a boxing scar. But go check that out. I don't want to rehash out what my analysis is here today, but I just want to acknowledge that it was a great honor to be mentioned on the Loophole Lawyers show. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, guys, let's get to the hearing. This is they're just doing some little motions before they bring on the trooper. I think he's a trooper. Let's find out.
The phone has not been located. Is that right, sir?
Your Honor, before if I may interject for 2 seconds, before Mr. Garabedian goes into the details of the data collection of the phone, there are witnesses in the courtroom that I think should be excluded. Given the fact that we're going to be talking about some of the details, I believe each one of them are fact witnesses that will have information specific to what Mr. Garabedian is about to specify to the court. I think it's more appropriate if they wait outside until and unless they're called to give their particular facts.
I have no problem. Do we know who those witnesses are?
I do. Heather
Okay.
Will Little and Nick Little.
Are they here? Yes.
They're seated in the front row.
Okay, folks, I'm going to ask that you step outside if you would. We'll call you in when your testimony is needed. Thank you.
And Judge, I hate to interject, but could we just make sure when Mr. Garabedian is speaking that he's speaking near a microphone
Sure.
so that we're ensured that it is recorded?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That one.
I'm here because of my hearing, Your Honor. Sometimes,
I understand.
Your Honor, we could not locate the phone. Historically, let me just say this. There was a civil suit filed because of the emotional roller coaster my client, Will Little, is on. The civil suit was dismissed. I just want to put this into
I
context.
understand.
Okay. Now, he only wanted one roller coaster ride at a time. Criminal cases enough. We could not locate the phone. My clients do not recall ever receiving the phone. And when I say my clients, I mean Will Little, Heather Unruh, and Nick Little. It is my understanding the government has a forensic image of Will Little's phone, the original phone.
Which they turned over. Yes.
Yes, and which has more information.
No, so they didn't turn over an image of the phone. They turned over a CD of the report of a summary, or maybe even just some analysis of the image of the phone. What Alan Jackson and his team need is the actual image. But there's already been some tomfoolery. Go check out the other, my first video, part 1, and it shows all the motions. And Alan Jackson was bold enough to even use the word gobsmacked, that he was just gobsmacked by the entire thing. And I totally agree. And that's not my bias that, I'm a Alan Jackson fanboy.
than I have on who I've been able to retrieve.
You know what I want to know? Miss Unruh turned the phone over to you folks, and you gave her a receipt for the phone when you received it. At some point, the phone was turned back over to somebody because you indicate you no longer possess it.
That's correct.
I would think that protocol would dictate that when you turn that phone back over to somebody, you get a receipt from that person saying, "Okay, we have the phone. Thank you very much."
I would not agree with that.
You don't agree that that's the protocol, or you just don't have a receipt?
No, I don't agree that that is the protocol.
Okay, well, you know what the protocol is. It would seem that would be the logical thing to do. Can you tell me? You don't. So you're indicating you don't have a receipt when the phone was turned back over to somebody. Is that right, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. But do you have some documentation in your file, in the DA's file, that indicates?
I agree with that. I had the Secret Service take some of my computers and phones, and when they returned my devices, I did not sign a receipt, and that's the federal government, and they are all about paperwork and times 3, so everything's in triplicate. So, I don't know. Maybe they didn't get a receipt, but I do believe they handed over the phone. Absolutely. And the accusers are lying. The mom, the son, they're lying.
To whom the phone was turned over and when?
What happened was there was a report that was
what happened was
generated concerning turning the phone over to the Trooper Donovan is here today.
Yep.
We requested to produce him. He's here. And the phone was obtained by the Commonwealth on Wednesday, November 29th. It was then turned over and again, I apologize if I used the wrong terms, but for the forensic download, the information we provided to the defendant on December 14th, that was done on the 15th, and it was returned to the Littles by Trooper Donovan on December 18th. That's putting the phone in the possession of the Commonwealth for approximately 20 days. Trooper Donovan remembers turning the phone over to either Will Little, well, it was a Will Little, it was either Will Little 2 or Will Little 3, either the father or William Little, the complaining witness in the case.
Sure.
And that would have been, as I said, on Monday, December 18th, 2017.
If the phone was returned, it was given not to the complainant's father.
Like, I mean, that would be the logical starting point. Who got the phone and when? It appears the date is set 12/18/17, but nobody knows to whom the phone was given. There's
They're playing games.
Documentation, although you indicated you saw something. It was something.
If I may, I think he's referring to the police report that I was talking about. There's no receipt or anything. There was a police report that was generated by Trooper Donovan, and I'm sure that must be what he's referring to.
And did that report name someone who received the phone?
I don't believe it did.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
I'm going to give everybody a chance to speak so we can.
Let me fill this out just a little bit.
Sure.
Trooper Donovan did, in fact, write a report. Where's Trooper Donovan? We've met, and I don't.
I'm sorry?
Is he in the court? Is Trooper Donovan in the court?
No, he's here. He's in the back.
He's not in the courtroom. Okay, I just didn't want to be rude and not acknowledge him because I've met him and I didn't recognize him here in the courtroom. Trooper Donovan did, in fact, write a report about having returned the phone to Nick Little. He specifically said to Nick Little.
But they're both named Nick.
Father is the son.
All right.
He said, well, actually in his report, he said Nick Little or Will Little. He's not sure which of the two. They were both home at the time, and he remembers it because that's the date that he interviewed Kyla, the daughter. However, this report that I'm referring to was generated June 10th, 2019. This is 2 years after the fact. The court instinctively went to the point, what is the protocol for the government to maintain a chain of custody for an item of evidence that you're either receiving from or returning to an individual?
Lots of cases get thrown out of court, criminal cases, especially regarding chain of evidence. When there's a break in that chain of evidence, the evidence can be altered, tampered with. We just seen I'm saying we just seen a bunch of that in the Karen Reed trial, a ton of it actually in the Karen Reed trial.
Of course there's a protocol that should be in place. If there's not one, there should be. And if there's not one, we end up in a disaster like this because nobody knows what happened. The Unruhs are saying the government still has
I hate to
it.
interrupt, but he interrupted me, indicating that when I said it was returned to one of the two Littles, that was incorrect, that there was a named Little that it was returned to. And I think he just said that it wasn't a named Little it was returned to.
It was
one of the
or
two.
Will.
I got it.
And that's what I said.
Those are two
So I don't
names.
understand what he's talking about now. It's just no question before him.
Gents, I got it. You're both going to have a chance to address me fully, and then we'll put the witnesses on
upset.
that.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll clarify some of that.
Let me tell you why that prosecutor's upset, because he's up against a sharpshooter. He realizes that there's a shark in the water named Alan Jackson, and he's getting chewed up alive. Yeah, he's totally right. Alan Jackson did just come up and say basically the same thing, but Alan Jackson is able to come up there and say no, that there was a report made, that there should be a protocol, and it's just classic Alan Jackson. Classic Alan Jackson. And old boy's pissed that he interrupted him. And now look who's still standing. Look who's still standing, even though the question was proposed to the prosecutor, Alan Jackson.
If I can just finish this point.
Go ahead.
There is, according to the government's discovery, their disclosure to us, there is no receipt that is concomitant to this particular report that suggests that Nick Little or Will Little ever received the phone. The government can't point to any documentation that follows or tracks the location of that phone. And now that it's missing, it's on them. The Unruhs are saying the government never gave it to us back, or at least we don't remember ever getting it back from them. The clear suggestion being they still have it. The government's saying, of course we returned it. No, they're pointing fingers at each other, and there's no receipt or documentation. And guess who loses because of this? That would be us, because we're entitled to the phone. And all that, I appreciate Mr. Garabedian's efforts to maintain or obtain a forensic download of a MacBook, another phone, a second.
I apologize, guys, for the skipping. The video has just been edited for, the little slow spaces, the breaks. And that's a shout out to Court Chopped for doing that for us, so we could have a more succinct video to react to.
Second generation phone, a third generation, or a fourth generation. None of that answers the central question, which is where is the actual phone? That's what we want, and we still don't have it.
Well, so what may flow from that is that if the phone is not produced and it's beginning to look like it will not show up, well, there are consequences. That could. I'm not suggesting they will, but they could, depending upon whether Commonwealth had a duty and it was breached, or whether something else occurred. Again, I'm not making a decision that I wouldn't be surprised that after we hear from everybody that there's a motion filed requesting sanctions, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I'm inclined to actually, I think I bring the trooper up first, because he can tell us whatever he can tell us about the phone being returned, but I don't want to cut off your opportunity, Mr. Glennie, to address me further. Certainly you can address me after we've heard from everybody, but is there anything more you want to say, sir, before we bring up?
No.
The questions will be restricted to the whereabouts of the phone and the condition of the phone. All right. So the questions will be limited. And however, the condition of the, what if anything might have been deleted? And the reason I say that is because if the court finds and if sanctions are requested, part of what the court needs to consider is whether or not this was an important piece of evidence that now is missing, and what if any sanctions should flow from that. Again, I'm not telling you that I'm going down this road, but this is relevant information. I don't want to bring everybody back.
It's totally relevant, because if you watch my video, the part one, Alan Jackson proves that there's that where and I'm just going to use this as a quick example, and I apologize for keep interrupting, because I know we want to get to the meat of the video, is that they presented evidence. Oh yeah, the accuser texted help while he was in Kevin Spacey's presence, but really what it was, should I take a picture? Yeah, like help me make this decision, and then it was totally taken out of context, and the accuser or his mother deleted the text before and after he said help. So it's things like that is the reason why they do need the phone. Absolutely. It's the most important piece of evidence. I don't know how this case eventually gets thrown out or case gets dismissed, but I just know it does. And so like, I'm super interested in finding out and reacting live to it with you guys.
To have a further hearing.
We're excited
I want to deal with it today. Anything further, folks, before we bring the trooper in? So I'm going to allow, obviously, Jackson, I'm going to allow you to go first. And Lenny, you may or may not have questions. Obviously, you can talk to these people outside the order of the court, but if you want to ask questions, you can do that. Mr. Garabedian, I appreciate you being here and giving us the information, but with respect to the questioning, that's not something you have any standing to do. But please be seated, as we may come back to you on other matters.
Here we go.
Trooper in, please.
swear the testimony you give is the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Good morning, still.
Morning, Your Honor.
All right. Would you identify yourself, please, for the record?
Trooper Gerald Donovan, State Police.
Okay. Jackson, go ahead. Do you want to inquire?
Thank you. Trooper Donovan, thanks for coming and joining us this morning. You're the lead investigator on the case before the court, the Commonwealth versus Fowler, correct?
I was, yes.
And you interviewed William Little for the first time on November 22nd, 2017, correct?
That's correct.
There was a report, at least one report, that suggested that it conducted in 2016. That was a typo in the report. In fact, the first time you ever made contact with William Little was 2017. Is that right?
That's right.
And your understanding is the first time Officer Kelly from the Nantucket Police Department ever made contact with him was also 2017, correct?
That's correct.
All right. In preparation for that meeting, you read Officer Kelly's report. Is that right?
That's right.
They were in the form of screenshots. He sent contemporaneous text messages that he claimed were taken on the night of the incident in the form of a screenshot to Officer Kelly, correct?
Yes.
And you reviewed those before your interview with him, obviously.
I believe I did, yes.
Okay. Made those part of your report, as a matter of fact, didn't you?
Yes.
At some point, you realized that there was data on that phone that was central to your investigation, correct?
I wanted some information from the phone, correct.
Why is that? Why would you want data from the phone?
Because he told me that he had used his phone and that there was information such as the contact of Mr. Spacey, things of that nature. If they were on his phone, I wanted to have it.
And the screenshots would not necessarily be the best evidence of that, correct? It would be the data on the phone.
The phone would be the preference, yes.
In other words, as an investigator, you want to go right to the source, the unadulterated source of the information if you can, don't you?
I would want the information from the phone, that's correct.
All right. Did you inform Will Little that you wanted information from his phone?
Yes.
Did you have a conversation inform Heather Unruh, Will Little's mother, that you also wanted information from that phone?
Yes.
What about Nick Little, William Little's father? Did you indicate to him that you were interested in data from the phone?
I don't remember speaking with Nick, mostly Will and Heather.
And you made it abundantly clear to both of them that there was data on the phone that you were interested in, you wanted to recover, correct?
I asked them if we could, yes, have consent to look at their phone. That's correct.
Perfect. As a matter of fact, you got a consent form.
I did.
That's the document that I was referencing just a second ago. You recognize that document?
I do. This is a consent form. I'll have people who are cooperating with the police sign in order to.
Can I just say something real quick, guys? I know a lot of you guys who are watching me today watched the Karen Reed trial. Look at the difference when you have a state trooper, a lead investigator investigating a case. Look at the difference in the non-oppositional, non-combative way that he's answering these questions. And look, he's a witness for the defense. He's the lead investigator. He's the one who created a file and put it on the prosecutor's desk, and the prosecutor decided to prosecute. But look how easy, how like he's working with the defense. He's like, look, this is evidence, and I'm just going to give you straight answers. There's no like, maybe, I don't know, no, I think you're right. Basically arguing with every question. And what else do we not hear? Anyone? We don't hear objection, Your Honor, objection, Your Honor. And we don't hear a cackly, witchy voice by Judge Cannone going sustained, sustained, sustained. I mean, what a difference. Just this example alone, this is how it should be. And the Karen Reed trial was exactly the opposite. The Karen Reed trial was just a perfect picture of corruption and collusion and all the things. And that's why Karen Reed is free today. But we still need to find justice for John O'Keefe. We absolutely do. All right, let's get back to it.
To access the information on a digital device.
Does it have any names that you recognize on it?
It does.
Does it have your name?
It does.
And it also has Heather Unruh's name, correct?
It does.
What's the date of this document, sir?
The date of the document is November 29th, 2017.
Is that the date that you received from Heather Unruh consent to retrieve her phone and do a document or do a data dump from the phone?
Yes.
Okay, so she obviously had control of the phone at the time?
Yes, they had the phone in their possession.
When they say they, I want to be a little bit more specific. She had the phone in her possession, correct?
That's correct.
When you visited her, Will Little was not there, was he?
He was not.
He did not turn the phone over to you. She did, correct?
Heather Unruh turned the phone over to me.
And
correct.
she also indicated, I'm sorry, I stepped on your words. Could you repeat that one more time?
Heather Unruh gave me the phone.
And she also indicated when she gave you that phone that she had access to the data on that phone, correct?
She gave me the phone with the data on it.
Okay.
Do I understand your question?
It's an awkward question on my part. I apologize. If I walk over and grab your phone, I can hand that phone to the judge. If I walk over and grab your phone and I've got the password and can get into the data, and I hand that phone to the judge. In other words, she had access to the data vis-a-vis a password so that she could get into the phone.
That's correct. It's on the consent form.
And she relayed that password to you. You anticipated my question.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no question that on the date in question, November 29th, Heather Unruh not only had sole possession of the phone, but she also had access to the data on that phone.
Yes, by having the password.
And if in
that
fact,
answer your question?
That is my question. And so if in fact, Donovan, she wanted to get into the data, and I don't know, send a text message on that phone, she could have done that, correct?
Yes, yes.
Right. And if she wanted to, I don't know.
A little bit more complicated than that, but yes.
But she could get on the phone.
Correct.
And use it as her own.
Yes.
And she could delete things from the phone if she wanted to.
If she had access to the phone, she could do whatever she wanted with the phone.
As a matter of fact, Trooper Donovan, she indicated to you at that time that she had, in fact, altered the data on the phone before she did.
She said she had deleted some frat boy activities, something along that line.
Did you inform at any point, Trooper Donovan, did you inform Will Little that he should not in any way manipulate, delete anything from the phone that you had, that you were interested in?
No, I never did that.
You never told him, keep the phone in as pristine a condition as possible, don't go deleting things before you give it to me?
No.
Don't you think that might have been a wise instruction to give Will Little?
Objection.
What? Go ahead.
Causes speculation.
Well,
You didn't do it.
you know what? You can answer it. Go ahead.
I didn't do that. Will Little was cooperating with the state police. I didn't foresee him deleting anything that would be a hindrance to my investigation.
But now, in retrospect, that might.
I would think anyone who is guilty of something, of doing that. I want to be on the trooper side because I'm pro cop, but even as a convict, I'm pro cop. They protect my family. I'm out here living in the world and society just like you are. Anyways, I'm pro cop. I want to be on the side of the trooper. Like, I just, I didn't think, but you know what? Trooper's wrong. He absolutely should have believe the victim, but also just in case you want to keep all the evidence pristine and nothing edited and all the things. So he should have said it. Is it, shame on him that he didn't, but I don't think it's a beyond. It helps Kevin Spacey's case because now they can look, no, there's deleted, it's tampered evidence. It helps in that way, but it also probably would have helped even better if those texts didn't get deleted, and that's why they got deleted. But anyways, I don't know. What am I even Samsplaining right now? Okay, let's get back to it.
I've been a smart thing to do. Tell him, don't delete that, correct?
Sure, there's a lot of things in retrospect that would be great.
Right. Did you tell Heather Unruh, don't delete anything from the phone?
I didn't.
Same question about Heather. In retrospect, you think that might have been a wise decision to tell her, don't delete anything from the phone?
Sitting here now, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And in fact,
I love this guy.
In point of fact, Trooper Donovan, she indicated she did delete certain items, and she described those as, what did you call it? Frat boy activities?
Yes.
Did you ask her why she deleted these quote unquote frat boy activities?
I didn't.
You know why I love this guy? Because if this would have been Proctor and that question would have been asked in the Karen retrial, and he would have asked hey, looking back, hindsight being 2020, would it have been nice to have, instructed? He goes, yeah. And looking back now, of course. Yeah, absolutely. If that would have been Proctor, it'd have been oh no, I stand by my case. No, I have integrity. Just ask my supervisors. Bukaki comes on and says, Nope. This was handled perfect. We wouldn't have changed anything. But when you're not hiding anything and when you're not colluding and trying to prosecute an innocent woman, no, you can say, no, yeah. Does that make sense, guys? It makes sense to me. I love it. I love having the Karen retrial and this state trooper, these exact, the same state, staties that did that case, did this case. The contrast is amazing. It's amazing.
Do you understand, given the fact that she admitted to you having deleted certain data on that phone before she handed it over, that there was data on the phone that she did not want the government to see or have access to?
Yes, my understanding was that she deleted frat boy activities that she didn't want us to see.
And you took her at her word, Trooper Donovan, that it was just, and I'm putting quotation marks around it, just frat boy activities.
I did.
Did you investigate further exactly what the data was that she had altered and deleted?
I looked at the phone, if that answers your question.
It actually doesn't. Did you, if it's deleted, you looking at the phone's not going to do much good, right?
Well, I can see some deleted items, and I can see things that basically weren't deleted that looked like frat boy activities. So my first thought was probably not the best job of deleting things.
Especially if they weren't frat boy activities, but were text messages or otherwise, right?
Well, my answer to the question is in regards to frat boy activities. I did see there are deleted things on the phone, correct?
And those deleted things go beyond just simply frat boy activities, don't they? According to the data extraction report.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the screenshots that Will Little, those original screenshots that he provided to Officer Kelly, those include some significant deletions, correct? Of the text messages from the night in question.
Which screenshots?
There's 3 sets of screenshots, 3 JPEGs, if you will, that were sent to Officer Kelly. Those are the JPEGs that you reviewed before interviewing Will Little, according to you.
Yes.
Those screenshots themselves include deletions from the night in question. Those text conversations have deletions having been removed according to the forensic data report, correct?
I think there are deletions within the text, yes.
And do you know if it was Will Little or if it was Heather Unruh who performed those deletions and alterations of the data?
I do not know.
Did you ask?
I did not.
A couple of more points, Trooper Donovan, on the issue of the deletions. You did not memorialize in any report at the time, consistent with the recovery of the phone, the fact that Heather Unruh had admitted to you deleting items off of the phone.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, you didn't do that until when?
2 weekends ago?
2 weekends ago from today's date.
I don't remember the date of the report, but I did it recently.
May I approach briefly? Yeah. Take a look at a copy of that document. Tell me if you recognize it.
I do.
How do you recognize that, sir?
This is my report related to my conversation with Heather when I picked up the phone, and the date of the report is June 2nd, 2019.
Great. That refreshes your recollection that it was actually June 2nd of this year, a couple of weeks ago, that you actually, for the first time, memorialized the fact that Heather Unruh admitted having altered or deleted the phone before handing it to you.
Correct.
Sorry, altered or deleted data from the phone before handing it to you.
Correct.
Would you consider the fact that data was altered or deleted from the phone before you were handed the phone a relevant event in your investigation? Relevant fact in your investigation?
I think ideally I would have liked to have had the phone July 9th, 2016, closer to the event.
Sorry, go ahead.
Within that time frame, anything could happen to the phone. People go through their phones all the time. I think July 9th would have been the best time to have the phone. I get the phone in December. There's so many different things that could happen. I have a mother who's giving me the phone. She wants to delete some frat boy activities. If she had said I deleted things related to this investigation, that would have been a different story.
So you took her at her word?
I did.
Had no reason to believe that she might, I don't know, fib a little to the lead investigator on issues related to her son's phone?
I didn't think that Heather Unruh would be lying to me. So yes, I did take her at her word.
But now you know that there were data on the phone in addition to just frat boy activities, whatever that is. It was deleted, correct?
You can see on the phone that things have been deleted.
So
it could have been her son too. I get what Alan's getting at, but it could have been her son that did it. So she very well could be telling the truth. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Well, let me ask you now. You said at that time you didn't think that Heather Unruh would lie to you.
Correct.
You going to change your opinion now?
No, I don't think she lied to me. I've seen, obviously you can't see what's been deleted if it's completely gone, but you can still see items that have been deleted that remain on the phone. I didn't see anything there that caused concern that would be exculpatory for your client. I just saw things that have been deleted.
How about the text conversation from the night in question?
With whom?
With the young lady whose initials are MD.
Okay.
How about those deletions?
Okay, you can see that.
So in fact...
But I don't know who deleted that.
But who are our two choices?
Well, what I was trying to make the point of earlier is that July 9th would have been... Excuse me?
That's my question to you. Nothing else.
Okay, it could have been Will or it could have been Heather.
It was either Will Little or Heather Unruh, correct?
I just said that, yes.
Right. May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
No, thanks, Your Honor.
There's another set of data, Trooper Donovan, that I'd like to ask you very briefly about. We've talked about the conversation between MD and Will Little. There's another set of data that was text messaged It was screenshot over to Officer Kelly. It included what I refer to as a group text. I don't know how else to describe it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
And you obviously reviewed the forensic data report as well.
I did.
All right. So the data report is from I don't have my phone, but the data report is actually something that's supposed to mirror the phone, correct?
No, not necessarily.
You just made my point for me. It's supposed to, but it doesn't necessarily always happen.
Well, you've said that term mirror image. That's not a term that's used. So
Okay.
I say no because it's an incorrect term. It's a data extraction.
What term would you use for what happened to the phone?
As far as when the phone is, to use a term dumped,
Yes.
so to speak. So the data is extracted from the phone. It's not a forensic action because the phone is still working. There's things going on in the background. You have to manipulate the phone in such a way to access the phone. So it's no mirror image. That's a term that is not used. So getting back to the texts, those texts from the screenshot, I'd say they're a little bit different than from what's on the phone that you can see that has been deleted.
And in fact, the forensic data reports, use your phrase, the forensic data or the forensic extraction report, rather.
Yes, the data extraction.
The data extraction does not contain the group texts that were screenshotted over to Officer, correct? Those are missing from the data extraction.
I'd have to look at it again. I might be thinking of a different group text.
There is if I were to suggest to you, query, there are text messages in the conversation between Will Little and MD on the night in question that includes deletions.
Familiar with that one?
You're familiar and you agree. Those have been manipulated and altered.
Yes, it appears that some of the parts of the conversation, yes.
And there's also a set of group text messages that are in the screenshot. So clearly at some point they were on the phone because Will Little sent that to Officer Kelly, and the data extraction does not include those. They're missing from the data extraction.
I'd have to look at it again. I mean, it's tough to memorize somebody's phone.
I understand.
As far as, because I'm thinking of another group text very similar to that one. And, I'd have to look at it with you, honestly, to answer that question.
Let me pose it as more of a hypothetical then, since I don't expect you to memorize everything.
I apologize. I'm not just...
No, I get it. If, in fact, there is data that appeared in the screenshot that is not in the data extraction report, then that means the data extraction report is not accurate in terms of recovering every single thing from the phone. There may be things in the phone that did not appear in the extraction report, correct? If my postulate is true, and those group texts are not in the extraction report,
It just means it's not on the phone anymore. It could be complete from the phone. Like I said, July 9th would have been the best time to have that phone. But as things happen, so when do I get the phone? November of 2017. And if things have been removed or whatever, they're going to be completely gone.
and of course, without that phone, we can never completely recover those, correct?
But if I don't have it when I get the phone, it's not there.
If in fact there's
So basically what he's saying, and I'm sorry guys, I know it's seeming convoluted, but you guys are smarter than me. But I'm gonna explain it to myself basically. So what he's saying is actually, Alan Jackson saying like it's not accurate, it's not complete, and what he's saying is like no, it's complete. It's complete from what I got. But what Alan Jackson's saying, well, okay, yeah, it's complete. Like nothing is missing. Like we didn't take anything out. It's complete from the phone that I got. The extraction is what I got. That is complete. But if he would have got that extraction, 4 months before, it would have been complete again, but probably would have had more information on it. And so they're kind of lightweight parsing words, but I don't know.
data that was there when Will Little handed the phone, when Will Little sent the screenshots, and the extraction report doesn't have that data on it, and that means the data extraction report is not. That's the only point I'm making.
And I'm answering you by saying it's probably not in the data extraction report because it was not on the phone.
So the best source, coming full circle on this line of questioning, I'll leave it alone. Source for the data would be what? The most accurate data would be what?
The phone on July 9th, 2016.
He said it with such less words than I did. What took me 3 paragraphs, he said in 1 5-word
sentence. And in fact, Will Little never even made these allegations until a year and 3 months after that, right?
I believe it was October of 2017.
Right.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Going back to what was discussed a little bit earlier out of your presence with the court, at what point did you return the phone back to whoever it was returned to?
December 18th of that same year.
The data extraction had already been completed?
Correct.
On December 15th, correct? correct?
I believe it was the 14th, thereabouts.
Recovered the phone.
Excuse me?
You recovered the phone from her on the, I'm sorry, my mistake. You submitted it for data extraction on the 14th and the 15th, have I got that right?
I believe it was done on the 14th.
Okay.
There'd been some issues with it, so we needed more information.
All right, on the 18th, you then traveled where to return the phone?
I traveled to the residence of the Littles.
And who did you see there?
I saw Nick, Will, and Kyla.
To whom did you give the phone?
I believe I gave it to Nick Little.
In what condition was that phone? Was it in an evidence bag? Was it just free?
I just handed him the phone. It wasn't in a bag or anything.
What documentation did you produce to memorialize the fact that you had given the piece of evidence back to the individual or individuals that had provided the evidence in the first place?
Unfortunately, I was remiss and I didn't have them sign for a receipt.
And you're aware that Nick Little is claiming that he does not recall ever receiving that phone from you?
I am aware that they can't find the phone.
Are you aware that Nick Little is saying, I don't
Never got it.
recall ever getting it back from Trooper Donovan?
I don't remember hearing that. I remember they were looking for the phone.
If Nick Little says, I did not get that phone back from Trooper Donovan, it's lying, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
If in fact
Yeah.
Nick Little claims that he never got the phone back from you, that would be
Easy
inaccurate.
sustained.
Yes.
That's all I have at this point, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Glennie, anything?
Thank you. Are you aware of any conversations that were taking place other than with the phone, but with the use of a computer?
Yes.
Tell us about that, please.
As far as the information from the phone being backed up to like an iCloud account?
No, with respect to conversations that were taking place between Mr. Little and others by use of a computer as opposed to his phone.
Oh, there was text conversations because the phone and the MacBook were linked at some point.
And would that have anything to do with if he was using the computer being backed up on the phone or being kept on the phone?
The information would have been kept on the MacBook as well.
And with respect to having phones and returning phones or keeping phones, at the time that you were working, by the way, at this time, what was your assignment within the state police?
I was a state police detective with the State Police Detective Unit assigned to the Cape and Island District Attorney's Office.
And what's your current assignment?
I'm an investigator with the State Police Cybercrime Unit.
What does that mean?
I'm in a statewide unit and we investigate cyber crimes within the state.
All right. So with respect to
Smart guy.
returning the phone, tell us how that happened.
I had an interview to do with Kyla Little. We were done with the phone. So that evening when we went to the residence of the Littles, I just handed the phone back.
And was there any difference in the policy of the state police, if there was a policy, concerning the return of the phone to a person who would be a victim as opposed to a defendant in a case?
Past practice, common practice is that if someone is a victim or a witness and they're cooperating, we get what we need from the phone, in this case a data extraction, and we return the phone back to them.
And that's what took place here, right?
Yes.
When you went, did that interview that you were talking about on the day you returned the phone, where did that take place?
At the Littles residence.
And when you drove up to the Littles residence, you had the phone, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And when you left, you didn't, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
And that's because you gave it to somebody inside the house, is that right?
I did.
Thank you, that's all.
Very brief.
Okay, yeah, well, somebody is saying they never got it. The trooper's saying no, they said they're looking for it, but the information Alan Jackson's got is that they never got it.
Your Honor, if I could. Will Little didn't have his computer with him in the club car that night on July 7th, 8th of 2016.
He did not.
So the text messages, et cetera, date entry would not have been on his computer, would have been on his phone, right?
Correct.
And Trooper Donovan, you said that the common practice is, at least for you, if someone is cooperating and you're able to get data from their phone or from their whatever computer platform that you happen to be using, and they're perfectly cooperative, you get the data extraction that you need to, and then you give back the item. Is that right?
That's right.
What if that person is the central and sole witness of an event, and you're aware that that person or someone close to him with access to the phone has manipulated the data? Do you think that's smart to give that person back the phone?
Yes, he's a victim, so I gave him back his phone.
He's a claimed victim at that point. You haven't finished your investigation, sir.
I feel that I would treat that person as a victim irrespective of what you just said.
And if, in fact, you knew that, let's use your word, that victim had altered data on the phone, do you think it's a good practice to hand the phone right back to the person who's admitted having altered the data?
The data that she told me she altered had to do with frat boy activities.
But you heard, that's the problem, correct?
Yes.
You took her at her word.
I did
Fishy.
believe her.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Nothing for, thank you.
Thanks, Trooper. You can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor. I didn't want this.
Super fishy.
Although I think we've already, this one's been marked. This was an extra, I think. So, you can give it. All right, the folks, the next witness. What's your pleasure? I'm inclined to go with Mr. Little, but you tell me. No, is that.
Well, guys, it's already been 42 minutes. I wanted to keep these shows short. That way, you guys don't get bored with watching, 2 hours of content of just waiting for me to say something. Not that you would be waiting on with a bated breath, but that's what we're doing. We're doing a reaction to these hearings. I'm almost inclined to make a part 3. I wish I could do a poll and get a vote, but I'm pre-recording these shows, so it's kind of a bummer. I think I am going to do a part 3. I'll go ahead and get this one jammed up and uploaded, and then we'll do the Nick Little. So I guess now it's going to be a 3-part series. That wasn't my plan. Maybe I'll record the next one, and maybe I can edit them so it's just a nice, fun reaction to Alan Jackson like kicking ass in this courtroom. I guess that's what I'll do. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to do that. We'll make this a 3-parter. I apologize, guys. I thought we could get through this and just have a nice, quick, clean video of just the whole thing, and we can move on to other topics. But alas, we're not going to. And I have a feeling the next one's even going to be way better than this one because it's the victim, and I know he gets caught in some lies. And when the mom comes on, we've seen the previews from part 1. The previews of his mom, she doesn't seem combative, but she's like a little too cute by half, that old saying. And so I don't know. I'm torn on what to do. All right, I'm going to end this one, guys. You guys remember, be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, and give yourself a little bit of grace. And it's Sunday today, as I'm pre-recording this. It's Sunday, August 24th, 2025. And you guys just have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to get this edited, uploaded up to you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. It'll be Monday, in the beginning of a wonderful week. And I just can't wait to see you guys. All right, guys. Mahalo.
Today's a gift we all can feel. The wounds are raw, but time will heal. Be thankful now for where you stand, and hold the world in grateful hands. After the bars, we're rising strong, facing the world where we belong. Recovery burns a steady flame. Grateful hearts call out your name. A brotherhood. There's a man named Sam who stands so tall with his podcast